the things that brought manufacturing to rural communities in the 40s and 50s was really, available, reliable labor supply, and a very good workforce that was here at a good rate. And that really was what began, the upsurgence of manufacturing after during and after World War II. Surry County is a county that has, that certainly saw more than its share of job loss. It was a strong manufacturing county where manufacturing probably comprised 40% of the labor force.
If something happened to this company, I don't know, for the same type business, I don't know what a person would have to do to keep working. You'd probably have to go get a lower paying job, in the fast food industry or whatever.
We made a commitment, I guess it was in the late 90s, that we were going to manufacture here in the U.S. And whatever it took, we were going to stay here. You got to go ahead and decide it. Am I going to stay here and ride it out? Because if you own a business, you're going to get knocked down a few times. And the difference in being successful is you just got up one more time. Took a job at Renfro Corporation on second shift. Started out as a mechanic there, working on knitting machines, so I could farm during the daytime and work during the nighttime. Worked there for 8 years, and a job come open at Brown Wooten Mills to be over all their knitting in Surry County, and I took that job. Worked there till 1993, and then that's when I decided to start my own business.
We were founded as a graze mill. We really, in the first few years, just knit and seamed socks for other hosiery mills. And then in 1995, the business with the other hosiery mills kind of took a bit of a left turn with NAFTA.
In 1995 is when about half of the hosiery mills in North Carolina either shut the doors or went bankrupt.
There were 3 bankruptcies, 2 major ones that all of a sudden all that money wasn't coming in, and it was a very difficult time for sure.
All we tried to do was just stay in business. We lost about 50% of our business. We had about $500,000 tied up in bankruptcy with some companies, and it was tough.
Years ago, you could be working for a company, and if something happened, you didn't want to work there anymore, you could leave there and go to another mill doing about the same thing and have a job that day. Well, it's not like that anymore.
I know when that first started happening, and then firsthand, because my mom lost her job, and so she was without a job for several months, and then now she has to travel plumb to Statesville, which is about an hour and a half away to work, where she used to travel 15 minutes to work. So for us, the textile industry leaving the area made a huge impact on the family because of the lack of opportunity, lack of jobs, and for the time lost away from home, because you do have to travel so far.
When they shut down, it was very hard because everyone there was a lot of people that worked in the hosiery mills. And still to this day, you know, there's a lot of people that have always worked in hosiery and that does not have jobs.
The other thing that we do is which we take, you know, a lot of pride in is having jobs for people, you know. And so it's fun to think, you know, we got 200 employees here that and their families that they can have a part in. So it's not just the Nesters, you know, company. It's this whole, you know, group of people that we have, all 200, that's helping support their families and stuff.
You know, I think that for this community is very important because it allows for a company like us to offer careers, not just jobs, but careers to our employees, people who can be with us for a lifetime and do something that they can take great pride in.
It's an opportunity to have a career and to provide for your family. So we need those, you know.
It's just, you know, like the old story about giving a guy fish to eat or teaching him how to fish, and it works the same way in life. If you don't work, you know, you're going to be looking for somebody to keep you up, and then, you know, we complain about keeping up, you know, the people that don't have jobs. We complain about keeping up those sometimes that are less fortunate. But I can tell you, most of those people don't want to be kept up either. So there's 10 Nesters altogether, counting my brother. Of course, I'm Marty Nestor, my wife Gina Nestor, and I have a sister, Janet Nestor, my son, Dusty Nestor. And there's Kelly Nestor, Carrie Nestor, Jarrett Nestor, and Jason Nestor.
Well, you better make this business work or you're in big trouble. That's all I got to say. That's some serious pressure there, isn't it?
Well, you know, yeah, you do. You got to try to keep all the family going if you can.
How do you get away from, how do you get at Thanksgiving not talking about business all the time?
You don't. It's always happening. It's even hard to go home without talking about business. So it's kind of an ongoing challenge. You know, you do get kind of tired of it sometimes and just say, have to put the rules down that says, hey, we're not going to talk about socks today.
It is really recognizing the niche opportunities, the opportunities to make very unique stuff here that has high value, high technology content. That is, if there's a quick delivery time, for example, from the time a customer places an order to the time that they're going to get a product, you know, that can't practically be done overseas and brought to the country. So these create niche opportunities even within some of our most traditional industries of furniture and textiles, you know, to build some very stable business models. They're going to be much smaller, they're going to employ fewer people, they're going to have a lot of technology integrated, it's going to require a more educated worker to operate. All of these things are going to be true, but it can still be high value jobs and stable employment.
Well, I think Nestor Hosiery is a outstanding example of what it means to be a small manufacturer. You know, years ago, you know, manufacturing was lots of employees, big floors, doing a lot of things, mostly manually. What Nestor Hosiery has done is saying, okay, we probably can't go back to that model again. We need to invest in technology, we need to invest in people, and so Nestor Hosiery, I think, represents that small manufacturer who's done that. Marty, you know, faced tough competition, invested in some old, you know, these older buildings and put new equipment in it, and has continually invested year after year to bring technology to the hosiery making manufacturing world.
This is one of the newer knitting machines that we have. This is a 108 needle machine. It knits at essentially your traditional type knit hiking sock. Most people who hike probably hike in a sock very similar, kind of a two-tone heathery look. This machine actually will knit the sock on the cylinder here. You'll see it come off, and then it'll go over here, and the toe post will be actually knitted on. One of the things that we've done here at Nestor Hosiery is we really try to involve technology in our production and our processes. We've developed a proprietary enterprise management system. We call it SOC Info. And it does
We've just reinvested all along the way in the best equipment, and really even now, each of the last 3 years have been our biggest years of capital investment in more and more new equipment for not only manufacturing socks, but also for the way we make socks. You know, we're as much a software development company as we are a sock manufacturer.
Created partnerships with various, you know, outdoor retailers and brands, and kind of evolved in making the sock, wool sock, a better product through investment in new technology and new innovative approaches to sock design. And about 3 or 4 years ago, we decided to develop our own brand of socks, Farm to Feet socks.
When I think about Farm to Feet now, you know, of course, the name originally, we were going from kind of a spinoff from the farm to table, local producer and that sort of thing. And then also got to thinking about, you know, the family come from farming. And so, you know, it's a good name both ways.
I think with our Farm to Feet, it's important because we're actually saying this is from the very beginning to the time that we ship the sock out, that everything's made in the United States. So it creates jobs here, and it keeps jobs here. And you take pride in it when you see something that you've made in a store somewhere, and you say, you know, I did that. We done that here in North Carolina. We didn't, you know, import that from China or wherever. We done that here. I think it's very important.
And it's neighbor looking after neighbor, really. If you think about the Farm to Feet story, we're able to manufacture and get all of our materials pretty local, and back the way it used to be when you grew up on the farm. All we need now is the consumers to latch on to the same idea that, you know, we need to be buying American.
American manufacturing was the thing. I mean, people wanted American-made goods, American companies created and produced things. And as we became a more global economy, things started shifting overseas, and there was still yet this sense of American pride. People, you know, took great pride in things that were made, created here, sourced here. And you know, we felt that there was something there that we could do.
The prices that you see for imported socks is not the real price. You know, when you look at all the jobs it's lost, and all the taxes and different things and revenues, you got to add a whole lot more to that price.
You know, when you lose your job, it's devastating. And Nestor Hosiery is very fortunate to be working as good as they do.
You know, I'm excited. I feel, you know, I feel like we know who we are and where we're going.